All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Aaron.
My name is Mike.
I'm Jeff.
And we're joined with
Eric.
we're joined with Eric again. Eric, we didn't have a chance to meet last time because I was away. So I'm glad that we got to catch up. But hey, this is our first video like ever. If you guys are listening to this on audio, go and check out our YouTube channel where this will be live. You can see all of our faces, and we'll be doing this from now on.
Or don't, because not everybody wants to see these faces.
Hey, I mean, a couple good-looking guys here.
Yeah, we do. And Jeff. So
well, Eric's here, and you have to bring one more in because I don't see another one.
It is it National Women's Golf Day today, I believe. So
cool.
Jeff, when you see your wife Mary, please give her a hey, congratulations on your National Women's Golf Day. My wife doesn't play. Aaron, your girlfriend doesn't play. Eric, I don't know if you have a female companion in your life.
Significant other, and I don't know any close female friends that play.
That's unfortunate.
I'll wish them all a happy Women's Golf Day anyway.
Yeah, for sure.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Speaking of that, the U.S. Women's Open was held last weekend, and we did get a chance to watch some of it. Jeff and I at least did. I don't know if you guys got to watch any of it at all.
No, I didn't get a chance to watch any of it this weekend.
It was pretty spectacular, to be honest with you. The scoring of 271, which was the top score held by Annika Sorenstam and a couple of other ones, the top score ever, was broken. So Minjee Lee pretty much destroyed everybody. She had a significant lead going into Sunday, and she was able to hold on to that lead and really just kind of roll with the punches. She was really nervous, she said, going into the week. I mean, you're leading one of the most prestigious majors in sports, right?
Right.
Why wouldn't you be nervous? I mean, God, I get nervous. What if I'm approaching 80 and have a chance to break 80? And
yeah,
I could shoot that round all the hell. So,
so I didn't get a chance to watch, but was it playing really difficult on the final day?
It was hard, yeah.
Because it looks like Go ahead. Sorry.
They had some crazy pin placements on Sunday.
Okay.
There was two was especially treacherous. I saw one of the golfers get on and roll off the side, and she took a wedge, and it rolled back to her, and so she took a putter, and it rolled back past her. So she just hammered the thing to get it onto the green. That cup was really treacherous. So yeah, there were some tough pins.
Looking at the scoreboard, I mean, it looks like it was impossible because outside of Minjee Lee, there was only two other people that shot even par and one other person that went under par, and they only broke par by one. So everyone else,
the scoring average rose above 75.
That's crazy.
So you can say it was hard. She had it at 15 under at one point. I believe she bogeyed the last two bogeys in her last three holes to come back down. So, But on the week, this is an incredible stat. On the week, she gained over 24 strokes on the field average.
That's wild.
That's crazy. That's so good. So good. She was speechless. She really, this meant a lot to her. She's from Australia.
Her parents are Korean. They moved to Australia. Yeah.
Australia, right. So the last Australian to win also won on this course.
Cool.
So it really brought home for her hey, as a kid, this is what I wanted to do. And it was pretty good for when you do something that well after dreaming about it as a kid, you have to be over the moon, right? You have to be. And she was. She didn't set the only record at this event, though. Amateur from Sweden, Ingrid Lindblad, who plays here in the States at LSU, shot the lowest score ever for an amateur in the U.S. Women's Open of 65, and set the 18, 36, and 54 hole scoring records for an amateur at the tournament. And the second lowest 72 hole score ever. Sunday got away from her. We were watching her kind of fall apart on Sunday, Jeff.
And, so she got to play the first 2 days with Annika Sorenstam, who is a legend, obviously, in ladies golf, and that had to be a big deal for her to play with Annika for those first 2 days and kind of have her in her ear a little bit. Watched her golf. She's solid. She just solid. She's a solid golfer. So it was fun to watch her play. I was really sad to see her fall back on Sunday. And another sad thing for me was Lexi just really lost it on Saturday and never recovered on Sunday. So I didn't like to see that. So
Do you think Lexi really has it anymore to be a contender in any of the big events? Or do you think that her mistakes just get so amplified so often in these events that she's just middle of the pack at best?
no, I think she still has it. She's top 10 finisher. She's third in scoring average right now in the LPGA Tour, believe it or not, even after, or she was Sunday before Sunday's round. Let me put it that way.
She's still ranked number 6 in her Rolex rankings, right? So
Yeah.
Jin Young Ko's number 1. Nelly Korda, for some reason, is still number 2. Minjee Lee moves up to number 3. Lydia Ko's number 4. Athaya Thidikul is number 5 from Thailand, and then Lexi Thompson number 6. So it's interesting to see this because in the past it was, Korea, somebody else, Korea, somebody else, Korea. So the mix is getting better, in my opinion, and it's not just dominated all the time by Koreans. Eric, do you follow the women's game at all very much?
I don't follow it as much as men's. I like to see the top players, the people that you mentioned, and it's fun to watch them play too. But I don't really follow the tournaments as much as I do on the men's side.
So with Swizzy Golf, are you in touch with a lot of the coaches that are on there, or is it more they get to do their own thing and just sign up for it?
No, pretty hands-on with them. We're working with them pretty closely to make sure they're getting exactly what they need. How are lessons going? How are you finding everything inside the app that's helping you give better lessons? Unfortunately, some guys on there, they don't have the right feel for it. Just their situation. They don't have the students set up to do remote lessons or whatever. But the ones that are giving lessons, yeah, we talk to them all the time.
Do you have many women coaches at all, or?
A couple, but that's one of our big initiatives to try and get more women's coaches on there because we're always saying internally that's a big kind of gap in the lessons industry. If you're a young girl or older, even, it's harder to find women's coaches or women's instructors that are around you than it is for either a woman or a man to find a man coach. So we want to kind of make it more accessible and easier for women to get lessons from women's coaches as well.
Yeah, I think it's important to have that diversity as well and make sure that people find a coach that they can click with. So with today being, National Women's Golf Day and the U.S. Women's Open just being held, I thought it was important to highlight what Swizzy Golf has for any of the female listeners out there. If you're looking for a coach, we've got some for you. So get to Swizzy Golf and sign up and check it out, right?
Yeah, you'll find one that you like.
Yeah, I did load up the app, Eric, and got signed up for it and everything. So I'm out there. I was looking through some of the coaches today. Mike, if you haven't signed up, when I see you, I'll bring my phone. I think the lady that we met at Inverness last year might be on there. I think she might
be
the
one from California.
One from I thought it was Arkansas.
Arkansas? Okay, it might be Arkansas.
What's her name?
It looks like her. I can't remember her name. I'd have to pull it up again, but it did look like her. So we'll have to take a look.
Oh, that'll be cool. So pretty much everywhere you looked at Pine Needles, records were just dropping, right? So the fewest strokes in the 77-year history of the event, most money ever earned at a women's golf tournament.
That's
ProMedica
awesome.
was the title sponsor for this. They threw $10 million out there. I think the winner got 1.8 million. Second place got like $1 million. So it's the most money ever won by a woman, which is incredibly cool.
Mm-hmm.
And while they said the end of the tournament wasn't exactly thrilling, just watching Minjee Lee bring it home was pretty cool. So congratulations, to everybody that participated. And in 4 more years, the tournament's going to be here at Inverness.
I think you're right.
Oh,
Can't wait.
cool.
So if
Taking
you're
that
not
week
in
off.
Ohio,
Oh yeah.
in Northwest Ohio, come to it in 4 years, hook up with us at Amp Golf and we'll all go see the tournament together, Eric.
That sounds pretty great.
Yeah. So on the men's side, the Memorial was held. Memorial is one of those tournaments that's not a major, but it's right there, right? It's right below it.
Mhm.
And none of us got our picks right.
No.
Billy Horschel comes out of nowhere
Yep.
to post his first really. This is his biggest victory, I think. So he's had 4 or 5 other wins on the tour, but this one really could set him up for greatness if he can perform throughout the summer, because we have some big tournaments coming up, and then the President's Cup. This gets him in line for the President's Cup, I believe.
Yeah.
So, and it should build his confidence for the U.S. Open. But he won by 4 strokes over Aaron Wise, who dropped a stroke in the last hole to finish at 9 under. Joaquin Niemann, Patrick Cantlay. Does anybody have Patrick Cantlay?
Jeff
Yeah, I
did.
Jeff did. Damn you, Jeff. Jeff had Cantlay to finish in a tie for 3rd at 7 under with Joaquin Niemann. Then Max Homa, who is just
I like Max.
playing some awesome golf.
He and we'll talk about this a little bit later when we go into more detail, but he had a good dig at Phil earlier today or the other day on Twitter. Yeah, it was pretty good.
So Max also became the first ever player to record less than 100 putts over 4 rounds at a PGA Tour event since records being kept in 1983.
Wow.
He had 99 putts. So he also had a crazy shot where his ball was in a rough. In his second shot, he slipped and fell. It is just he kept his composure the entire time, didn't lose his cool. And right now, he is probably playing golf like one of the top 10 players in the world, I think, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah,
he's
for
not
sure.
in the top 10, but God, he sure is playing golf like it. So
Is he very far away? Oh yeah, he's 23rd in the world right now.
23rd. He rose from 23rd to 28. So
yeah,
but Homa's really starting to find that groove, right? So he's got two wins this year so far.
Yep.
He's come close a couple times, and a lot of people are taking a look at him for the U.S. Open if he can just keep composed and keep doing it. So, nice to see him do it. Will Zalatoris, Aaron, I think was your pick, right?
It was, yes.
Finished in tie for 5th with Homa, Daniel Berger, McCarthy, and Sahith Theegala, who we love, who almost pulled out a win earlier this year. Finished in tie for 5th as well. My pick was at 3 under, I believe. So John Rahm. So he didn't really do very much, but whatever. Did you see some of the scores on the final day though? This is the fun part for me because they played like us.
Oh.
So Johnny Vegas shot 9 over. KH Lee shot 10 over. Cam Young shot a 12 over 84.
Yeah.
And Chan Kim shot an 11 over.
Oh no.
I mean,
that sucks. That's gotta be, that has to be so demoralizing. Playing decent golf for 3 days only to have it just blow up in your face like that.
Cam Young, how do you shoot an 84?
It happens. Golf is one of those games.
Yeah, and you know those guys are pros, right? So you don't expect to see it from them, so it really jumps out at you. Like,
did you see the size of that rough? If you miss the fairway, and this is the best thing about the Memorial, in my opinion, the fairways are pretty generous, right? But that rough comes. There's really not much of a second cut there.
There's no transition. Yeah,
it's just fairway to 3 inches of rough. Your ball's going to settle.
Well, they were saying in some spots it was up to 6 inches of rough, so that's pretty crazy.
That's U.S. Open shit. Come on, man.
Yeah. Especially off the green, it's really, really easy to just go underneath the ball, which we saw a couple times, and or just completely whiff. And that's just crazy to see.
The greens are lightning too. If you saw some of the putts on the back on Sunday, these guys are breathing on the ball and they're making it all the way to the cup.
Yep, they were extremely fast. They were drying out perfectly. Jack said on an interview on Saturday, he goes, "Yeah, the scores are here, but wait till tomorrow. Wait till you see what happens tomorrow."
He must get such a kick out of that. I mean, he must find so much pleasure in just torturing these guys, because this isn't, the Memorial isn't an easy tournament. Jack relishes the challenge, and he loves getting the course as hard as possible.
Yeah. Greg Norman called Jack phony or fake or something. He kind of went after him for Jack denouncing the LA Live Golf and stuff. So Norman's really opening his mouth a lot right now and sticking his foot just deeper and deeper down his throat. So anyway, so that happened. The Memorial was great. Did you happen to see Horschel's putting routine at all?
No.
You need to go look at it.
Is this a new thing
in motion? It's this intentional creeping up to the ball, constantly little shuffle steps, and then he takes the putter back and hits it.
Mm-hmm.
His goal is to stay in motion the entire time.
Interesting.
Yeah, his entire pre-shot routine just in general is interesting, but it worked for him. So he had his 3 kids there with his wife. The kids didn't know he won until he said Daddy won the tournament, and they went crazy. So it was kind of cool, seeing the family there and having all that stuff. So I like Billy. We've talked about it quite a bit on the show.
Yeah,
he's very encouraging to other players that he plays with.
He's very encouraging to other players that he plays with, and then he's just very self-deprecating to himself. Like, he just doesn't cut himself any slack, and he'll just chirp at himself the entire round. It's so much fun to watch.
At the Masters tournament, every time he missed a putt, he was like, "What? It's got to go that way. How did it not go that way?" He's so demonstrative. It's awesome. I love watching him. So
somehow, to me, he comes off as one of those guys. Some guys that are on the course and they're always just complaining and throwing a fit. You get pissed off at them. For some reason, his just doesn't come off that way.
Yeah, no,
it's
not at all.
More of a a positive emotional way, even when he's getting upset.
Yeah, for sure. It was awesome. So he's setting himself up good for the U.S. Open, which is 2 weeks away, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's coming up. But before then, we go back to Canada for the first time in 3 years now. I think they've canceled the tournament the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
The RBC Canadian Open comes to St. George's Golf and Country Club. And if you don't know anything about St. George's, I encourage you to go look it up. It's a phenomenal layout, and it's been taken back to its roots, right? So this is kind of something that's going on with all these golf architects these days. They're coming in and taking courses back to what the original designs were. They're not putting their own touches on them. So Royal St. George's Golf and Country Club is known for tiny greens. I think the average square footage is 4,000. So they're going to be tiny, and it's kind of an iron striker's paradise here. So the picks this week are going to be very interesting. There's a pretty good field. They've got new greens that they put in, and they put in some new bunkers. It's back in Toronto. Toronto's an awesome town. It's a really expensive town if you've never been there. Canada in general is kind of expensive. It's a good layout for the U.S. Open because the rough's going to be up and it's going to be a little penal to get into it. And I think that you're going to see people that can keep the ball in a fairway and hit their mid-range irons really well, do really well here. So it's going to be interesting to watch. It's a pretty full field. I think that the betting, if you're in Canada, there's a couple Canadians in the field that you're going to want to bet on, but I know that Colin Morikawa has always been called as a pure striker of the ball, but he's not showing up at all this year, right? So
right.
I don't even know if he's playing this week.
I don't think he is. I'm going through right now, and
JT's there, I
don't
believe.
see him. I think really the only standouts that I'm seeing on here, JT, Rory McIlroy, and Tony Finau are like the three big. Well, and Shane Lowry's there as well. But other than that, no crazy players. Matt Fitzpatrick is there, so I mean he could potentially do something this week too. But
so a lot of the big names are taking the week off before the major.
Yeah.
So JT's not taking a week off before the major again.
No, he's not
either. Yeah, he'll golf.
Very, very interesting. So I don't know. JT is going to be my pick just because I love JT. I think he's going to have a big year. He's going to win a couple more times for sure. I'd love to see him win the U.S. Open, but Brookline is a different beast. So I don't know if he's going to do it. After that, it's anybody's guess. Canada's just happy to be open right now, I think, and having a golf tournament. So.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Just like everybody else, right?
Right.
I was listening to sports radio today, and they're complaining about the viewership of the NBA finals being down. Well, first of all, it's basketball and, whatever. And secondly, though, school's over. So everybody's been in lockdown for 2 years. They're going on vacation. They're getting the hell out
People
of
are
Dodge,
doing
right?
stuff.
Yeah.
So golf tournament viewership's going to be down. Everything's going to be down while vacation's on this summer.
Yeah.
I mean, you got kids, you're getting the heck out of the house and going to the beach or something, right?
Oh,
So,
yeah.
So we got that to look forward to. Probably not going to watch too much of it this weekend. If I'm in town, I'll golf. If I'm not in town, I'll be in Iowa. So we're not quite sure what's going on with that yet. Did you see that Phil Mickelson is one of the few people that did not resign his PGA Tour card?
I did see that.
So, I mean, what's the deal with guys resigning their PGA Tour card? Are they just getting ahead of the PGA Tour because they think that they're going to pull it? Or is this something that do they have to do this?
They don't have to. A lot of the questions going to come into play on special events like the majors or Ryder Cup, President's Cup, things like that. The way to guarantee that you maintain your exemptions for majors is to keep your PGA membership, because playing in majors is contingent on being a PGA member. That's why Phil didn't give his up, right? My guess is he wants to come back and play in those majors.
Yeah.
The other ones resigned them. They don't have any idea what their fate is going to be in that case. So I see them going to court.
I've got a slightly. Go ahead.
He still wanted to play in the majors, but he was one that resigned, I thought, right?
Yeah.
DJ resigned. So Andy Ogletree. Sorry. Those are the ones that did it. Who resigned? I've got a whole list of who resigned.
Kevin Na resigned. I think it was the first one.
Kevin Na resigned. DJ resigned. A whole bunch of them. Sergio resigned his card.
Sergio, yep.
So
I'll miss him.
My take on it is they're if they resign, they get all the benefits, retirement that they had. They still get that, right? They can't be taken away from them because they've resigned.
Right.
They've decided to no longer play on the PGA Tour. The majors are not controlled by the PGA Tour. So the USGA controls the US Open. The RNA controls the Open Championship, and Augusta National controls the Masters. I'm not sure about the Players Championship, but from what I read briefly, because I didn't do a ton of research on it, the majors are not controlled by the PGA Tour. So the PGA Tour can't influence. Sorry, the PGA Tour could influence them, right? Will they?
I would imagine the only tournament that the PGA Tour will have no influence on is the Masters.
Yeah, Augusta does what Augusta wants. So
other than that, the RNA and the USGA are all very close with the DP World Tour and the PGA Tour. I could see that, having an effect, but I mean, I guess we'll see in a couple weeks if Phil and DJ are really teaming up at the US Open. So
Phil and DJ both said they want to play at the US Open. So
yeah, I think the USGA said that they'll be in as well.
Cool.
Yep.
They already came out and said it.
Nice.
Yeah, I believe I believe that's correct. The RNA is going to be interesting because the RNA, they're slightly different, and they want to do what they want to do, and they want to keep that prestige, and they want to keep golf as clean as possible, right? So they're still. Please forgive me, anybody that might be listening or listening from across the pond, a little stuffier than we are, right? So, no hoodies, that whole thing, that's still a thing there. It's going to be interesting. I do know that Tiger pulled out of the US Open, so he's not going to play that. His plans are to play in, is it Scotland, the Scottish Open right before the Open Championship, and then play in the Open Championship.
Yeah.
I think it's some amateur, not amateur, like an exhibition. Gotcha. I don't think it's the actual Scottish Open.
Oh, okay.
I could be wrong.
No, you're probably right, because I know he's trying to play right before the Open Championship. But, St. Andrews is going to be perfect for him because it's relatively flat, so it shouldn't put a ton of stress going up and down hills like it, was at Oakmont and everywhere else. So
an exhibition makes sense as well because it's not 4 days of pounding, right? It's a round or two, whatever that ends up being, to get loosened up and see how the game is going after.
Right, and he could ride a cart probably, right? So
could be.
That's true.
John Daly was all over the news saying, "Tiger, you should be riding a cart. You should be riding a cart."
Yeah,
I love John Daly. So remember that little tiff that Grayson Murray and Kevin Na had? So it was on the driving range where Grayson Murray was was they were going back and forth about how long it takes Kevin Na to putt. And Kevin Na was saying, well, you're never going to make a cut anyway, Grayson. And they just went back and forth. I think Grayson Murray got the last word in because he tweeted out, like I said on the range in Mexico, you won't be missed, Kevin Na, 9:15. Our rounds just got 20 minutes faster.
Wow. Well, I mean, and what I said earlier, Max Homa tweeted out, he said, a lot of spots opening up on that player impact program now. So
right. And it's funny because DJ got like 3 million last year and Phil got like 6 million, finishing second place to Tiger. I think Tiger locked up the PIP program for himself this year after Phil went a week premature last year and said, hey, I won. And then Tiger actually won, and Tiger went over and slammed him. And Tiger's got so many more followers than Phil. So I think he locked it up for this year. There were some crazy headlines this week, and this is the best headline I saw. And it was in an article written by Eamon Lynch. It said, the headline was this: Dustin Johnson was presented a test of character by the Saudis. Unsurprisingly, he failed it.
Wow. Unbelievable.
What do you think of that?
I mean, it's just a clickbait headline. I'm sure there's a lot more into it than that, but I want to know how much they offered him, because I'm sure he was right up there with
125
Phil.
million is the
number. Oh yeah, that's
I've
right.
heard.
It was 125 million.
Phil wasn't supposed to join, right? All the news was Phil's not going to do it. He's not going to be there. All of a sudden he's there with 200 million guaranteed.
Yeah.
Well, it covers that 40 he lost. So.
Well, he had to sell his jet too, just so you know.
That is a terrible way to live.
You know, there's we'll get into Phil's gambling addiction in a little bit, but other players that are confirmed to be playing in LIV right now are that you might know are Andy Ogletree, Brandon Grace, Bern Weisberger, Charles Schwartzel. Schwartzel's another one that resigned his card, by the way.
Yeah.
Chase Koepka.
Yeah. I mean, so Golf Digest has a cool article about it, and I felt a little bad for Chase because they have them all sectioned out in like different categories.
They have
and
Chase down here, right?
He's in the what else am I gonna do? So I felt a little bad.
Did you feel bad? Really?
I mean, what else is he gonna do?
Yeah, right.
He hasn't done anything on tour. I'm sure he's tired of grinding away and missing cuts, and the guaranteed money is good.
You know, we called a few of these at the beginning of the year when we were talking about it. Graham McDowell and Ian Poulter, Lee Westwood. We knew these guys were going to go. Oosthuizen's gone. Sam Horsfeld, Sergio Taylor Gooch, Martin Keimer. So there are two former number ones in the world, where Martin Keimer, who was number one for a cup of coffee, and DJ, right? So Phil ever make number one in the world? No, he didn't, right?
No.
He does have something none of us have, though. 6 second place finishes in the US Open. So
yes, he does.
Sorry, Phil, had to do it. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. So the Live Golf format is 12 teams, 48 players. They're only playing 54 holes, so it's a day shorter. There's 8 events this year. They're saying they're going to build on that next year. No cuts. And the more interesting piece for me is shotgun start. Everybody's out.
It'll be fast.
They hit the horn and you go.
Yeah.
So they're saying the TV coverage is going to be streamed on the Live Golf Network, which I didn't know existed. Right?
Really?
Facebook and
so
YouTube.
Hard.
Yeah, Facebook and YouTube.
Well, I mean,
and they're saying 50
YouTube,
cameras.
Yeah. I'm surprised the PGA Tour hasn't started streaming live on YouTube or anything like that either. When I saw that Live Golf was doing that, I mean, that's something where, I mean, again, just speaking personally, like I don't have cable, and in order for me to watch golf, I have to subscribe to PGA Tour, Peacock.
Right.
I have to subscribe to a bunch of different services. Live Golf is just going to broadcast it for free on YouTube. That's probably going to draw a lot of people in who aren't able to watch golf on a weekly basis. So
yeah. So each regular season event is basically 2 competitions. It's an individual one and a team event. So I kind of like that. It's kind of cool. We've talked about different things like this in the past of the PGA Tour doing something like that, right? So for the individual event, every stroke counts, just like always. The individual winner will be the player with the lowest 54 hole stroke play total. the player with the most ranking points after 7 events will be named the individual champion. Individual is one of those hard words to say when you're talking really fast. So anyway, the team championship will be the 8th and final event of the season, and it will be a seeded 4-day, 4-round match play knockout. So, I mean, there's some cool stuff here, right?
There is some cool stuff.
And this is kind of what the players were talking about. There's no cuts. So you're going to make money. The bottom player makes $125,000, right? Last place. It's 3 days as opposed to 4.
Right.
There's no pro-am. You talk to the players. Not a lot of players like this pro-am stuff.
Right.
So they're getting rid of that. However, during the first live press conference today, they might have been a little heavy-handed by escorting a member of the press out for asking questions and follow-up questions about what about, all the things that they're covering up in Saudi Arabia? What about their human rights violations? What about?
Well, so hold on just a second. We can talk about that, right? It's not the United States of America. You don't have freedom of the press. They don't have to listen to and badger people. So you're in a different country.
They're in England, though.
Okay, England doesn't have that.
So
we're unique that way, right? So here's the thing: it's their event. You got to play by their rules.
Absolutely. And here's the best part about it: more than half of their events are being held in the United States.
Yeah.
Right.
Do I agree with that? Not necessarily. I think they should be able to ask those questions, but
right. It's going to be interesting. So the top 3 players, individual players at the end of the season, the first one gets 18 million, second place 8 million, and third place 4 million. So the season ending championship will have a total prize fund of $50 million.
Where are they getting all this money?
Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, Saudi Arabia.
Right. They just have that much money to throw at this. I mean, if you look at the contracts they gave these guys, the weekly purse, they don't have a TV contract, billions of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're talking. It's interesting because there's just so much money over there, so much money, and I don't know that you really ever get kind of a concept of how deep their pockets are, right? And this is a good example, Eric. You're absolutely right. It's not like people are lining up to watch golf on TV, but there is an uptick in the interest of golf. These are the people that build an indoor ski lodge in the middle of the desert, though. So I mean, there's so much money floating around. I know that's Dubai, but anyway, it's the same group.
So they're playing in London, in Bedminster, in Chicago, in Jeddah, Portland, Boston, Bangkok, and Miami.
I've been to Bangkok. Nice city.
Yeah.
Yep. So the season-ending event's going to be in Miami at the Trump National Doral in Miami from October 27th to 30th.
It's just the biggest.
So funny.
Cherry on the sundae.
It's
That's
so funny.
Hilarious. That's funny.
I know.
Oh man.
It'll be interesting to see. When is the first event?
It's this week,
This
June
weekend
9th through 11th. Yep.
That's what I thought. I just wanted to make sure. It'll be interesting to see how much attention this gets this weekend. I mean, it's the trial run, right? Like everything's been leading up to this. So I'll be interested to see how big it gets.
I can see it being really big this week, and then Bangkok, are you going to get millions of people watching for that? I can see it just kind of like tapering off a little bit.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Well, that was going to be one of my questions. So great point, Eric. Another question I have is, does the PGA have any pull with the networks, right? So the networks want access to the PGA just as much as the PGA wants access to the networks, or do they? And do they say, we don't need to be running stories, ESPN, about this? Live Golf is not the golf you are seeking.
Right.
I think they have some pull, but I think it's still going to get media coverage no matter what happens because of Phil and DJ and some of the bigger names that are there. They've also got 3 of the biggest amateurs in the world to show up, and they don't have their PGA Tour cards yet. So there's nothing the PGA Tour can do about it. They show up, they could get $125,000, but I believe all of the big name amateurs also got guaranteed money up front to show up and play too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So, I mean, why wouldn't you? If you're an amateur golfer and you're in your 4th year or 5th year of college, trying to grind it out to get to that spot where you can jump from college right to the PGA Tour and have an immediate impact, that money is everything for you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, would you go for it? I might. Everybody's down in Saudi Arabia, and I get it. The human rights violations are horrible. Every country has those skeletons though. The United States is not clean. So
Right.
I can't fault somebody for trying to earn as much money as they can while their window is open. Now,
Right.
that doesn't mean I would do it, because for as long as I've been a golfer, and Aaron, I think you feel the same way. Eric, I don't know how you feel, but you can share that. And Jeff, I'm not sure how you feel either. If I could have done something, I would have played on the PGA Tour and played for those major championships. I want that prestige. I want my name in a record book, right? That's why I wanted to play. $125 million, $200 million, or what they're saying about Tiger Woods, high 9 figures. They said his offer was approaching $1 billion to be the face of the league.
That's insane. That's just insane. I don't know.
You turn down $200 million?
I mean, no, I don't. It's more money than I'll probably ever make in my entire life. So absolutely not. If someone offered me the chance to go play golf for $200 million and all I had to do was show up, okay, yeah, probably.
Eric, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm curious.
I would too, but if I already had $200 million, then that would be a different story.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the thing, Dad, you were talking about that. And I think a lot of it is just we're looking inside, but money, no matter what, if you're wealthy, if you have a lot of money, it's going to change you a little bit. So at some point for these guys, it probably was about getting their name on the trophy and making history, but the money got involved and that's become more important.
Well, so Phil Mickelson, let's just take a Phil case, right? $200 million guaranteed. Is that correct? Is that the number we're hearing?
Yep.
Okay. So what's his lifetime earnings? Anybody happen to have that stat?
I could find it.
54 million.
Probably less than $200 million earnings from golf, but his earnings from sponsors and things like that. I believe they said this 200 million pushes him to close to $1 billion in career earnings.
So that's career earnings lifetime, but off the tour itself, it's tough to go, hey, you've had a great career and everything. Oh, and by the way, here's $200 million cha-ching,
So it says with all his wins for his career, he's won $100 million.
Right.
On tour.
So they doubled his career earnings with
with everything. So including sponsorships, all that stuff, he's approaching $1 billion total earned over his career. It's like 925 million was the estimate.
That's crazy. And his major championship days are probably over, right? The PGA last year was probably the last straw.
I think he'll probably show up to the US Open if he can, until he can't physically do it anymore, because he wants that one.
6 second place finishes. I'd want it too. It's the only one that he's missing.
Yeah.
That's got to be eating at him. I think it'd eat at me.
Oh,
if I didn't have that one. Yeah. So I'd probably do the same thing.
Smaller things that I've done in my life eat away at me. I mean, if I've come second place in the US Open and haven't won it yet, that's going to be hard. And it's something where Greg Norman, when people talk to Greg Norman about his Masters and all of his many, many close calls, the Masters eats him up. I mean, that's something that he really thought about for a long time.
Yeah, I really think the guys that resigned are just doing it to escape the wrath of Monahan, right? Because he has laid down the hammer a couple times in player meetings saying, if you do this, you're done. So, well,
I'm interested to see what he does. Does he really, does he keep that up?
Right. I think the resignations come to also keep themselves out of legal issues that are going to arise.
Right.
And I think Phil not doing it is so that he could be the face of the legal issues. I think the Saudis are going to pay his bills, and he's going to take the PGA is going to take him to court, or he's going to take them to court over it, because he's been fighting for player media rights for years now.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of the reasons why he wants to do this. So I think we're going to hear a lot more from Phil.
Yeah, I think the resignations are probably somewhat coordinated. I honestly do. I think those golfers all want to get out of the way of the court battles and everything else. You leave one big name with his hat in the ring, and he's got $1 billion under his belt with a bankroll behind him, willing to take on the PGA in court. Sure, why not?
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm sure I might tune in a little bit this weekend if I have a chance, just to see what it looks like. See
I'll probably
what the coverage looks like. They're gonna have 50 cameras, drones, all kinds of stuff, shot tracers. I did see the list of people announcing and things like that, and one of them is a former Fox News host or something like that really slammed the Saudis for a long time, and now all of a sudden he's flipped the script and is going to do the announcing for them. I think the payday was pretty good for him too.
Oh yeah,
but we'll see what it looks like, and I'm anxious to talk about it next week a little bit, see if the coverage is any good. The U.S. Open. Yeah,
you got to jump in on you, or you never stop, Mike.
You're right. You guys got to cut me off. So you got to cut me off. I'm just trying to get us moving.
I just kept seeing Jeff going, and he's getting real close to starting.
Jeff, go.
We talk about shot tracer. One of the things that we complained about with the ladies' events was the coverage, right? Lack of camera crews, lack of top tier announcers, lack of technology. They actually turned it on this weekend. We shot tracers, shot analysis, shot spread, all the things that you get to see at some of the bigger tournaments for the men. We just wanted to throw that in there, and
awesome.
Whoever's listening in that industry, thank you. We like
good
to see
job
on the ladies' side, right?
Yeah.
So.
What did you think about the coverage as far as the announcers and things like that, Jeff?
So Morgan Press. I forget her last name. You know who I'm talking about. Pressel. Thank you. I'm on the fence about her. I thought they did a great job, though. A lot of great names. I'd like to see Annika come up to the booth. I think that she would just be a wonderful force as an announcer on the tour. But I thought they did a good job. Could have been better, maybe, but wasn't horrible. And they definitely followed the marquee group. So thank goodness for that.
Well, that's good. They're not Nick Faldo and Davis Love III, though. So I love those two guys.
No, they're not.
Who's your favorite announcers? You guys have favorites?
Saturday.
Yeah,
I guess he's not an announcer, more of an on-course guy. But
I wish Jim Nance did more outside of just the Masters. That'd be great.
You see Faraday out there on some of the bigger ones. Every once in a while, he goes ahead and puts the gear back on and goes out there. I enjoy it. Yeah, Faldo probably for me.
Yeah, I thought Davis Love III did a good job. People were really slamming Phil because they thought his next gig would be in the booth, and this will take his joining Live Golf will definitely take him away from the booth on the PGA Tour. So.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, that's what he had said. Was that like a year ago or so before any of this came out? Is that in lieu of going to the Champions Tour, he was going to do broadcasting or something like that?
Right.
But
Eric, I take it you're a fan of the Faraday show. Then do you catch that show?
Yeah. I'll check in on big names, watch a little bit.
He's got a good podcast out there too.
Yeah, he's just an entertaining guy.
Yeah,
he's very energetic, and he's been heavily medicated for a long time now. So
that's the secret.
Well, he needed it, right? So he's had all kinds of mental health issues, and he's been very open and honest about it. So it's refreshing to see somebody be open and honest about that. So
yeah,
yep.
U.S. Open qualifying ended, so there's a lot of names that. No, I didn't even try. If you can make it to the final event, it's 36 holes in one day.
Yeah.
And here are some of the bigger names that didn't make it. Graham McDowell, Aaron Baddeley, Rory Sabatini, Dylan Fratelli, Matt Kuchar, Robert Garrigus, Trevor Sluman, Charlie Hoffman, Pat Perez, JJ Spawn, Ricky Fowler just missed out and will be the first alternate. So he's still got a shot at it. Matthias Schwab, Matt Wolf actually walked off the course after hitting a drive in the water.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Wesley Bryan missed by 2 shots.
Dang. That would have been cool to see.
It would have been cool. His brother, George Bryan, was a plus 12. So, but he made it to the last. He made it to the last day.
Yeah, good. That's encouraging.
Not a lot of people even do that. So Harry Higgs missed. Love Harry. God, Harry's like me walking out on a golf course and playing with the pros. I love it. So Big Mike Visacki, who we talked about last year, missed out as well. JT Poston, Trey Mullenix, Camilo Villegas. You can tell Mary that he's not going to be there, Jeff.
Oh, darn.
Cam Champ, Luke Donald, Nick Watney, and Jason Duffner all missed out on it. So there's some pretty big names that are still trying every year to get into it. And it's not an easy way to make it to the US Open, do the sectionals, regionals, and then go to the final day.
Some of those are surprising. Matt Wolf, I would thought he would have already qualified.
Yeah. He's struggling.
Yeah, he's struggling.
The last couple of years he's been kind of off.
He's another one that's been very open and honest about his mental health issues and what he's trying to do and stuff like that too. So wish him all the best. He's great for the tour, so I'd love to see him out there. There's a story that pops up, and I'm going to bring it up because I think it's funny, because this could be us in years, Jeff. So there's a place in Florida called the Villages, which bills itself as Florida's friendliest retirement hometown. But two buddies, 177 and 184, got into a heated debate on the fourth hole. The 84-year-old gave the bird to the 77-year-old. The 77-year-old said, "Do that one more time, I'm going to punch you in the face." 84-year-old, sure enough, gave him the bird one more time. 74-year-old, sure enough, punched him in the face. 77-year-old's in jail. 84-year-old's in hospital.
Wow. What was the argument about?
They didn't get into what the argument. It had to be, apparently friends say they argue about golf all the time.
Oh,
so
yeah.
There had to be something about a putt, a gimme. It had to be something. So I just thought it funny. I really did.
That's great.
A little levity. If you guys have not listened to or read the book from Alan Shipnuck on Phil Mickelson, this unauthorized biography, it's a great listen/read, and there's a lot of information on it. So based off of that book, Phil actually admitted that his gambling reached reckless proportions that embarrassed him, and then claimed that hundreds of hours of therapy have fixed his addiction.
Dang.
So addictive personalities, there's a substitute somewhere, right? So
yeah,
hopefully it's a good outlet. Maybe it's the LIV Tour is his new outlet. Whatever it is, but yeah, that's tough to break. It's a trait.
Yeah. So Phil likes the finer things in life. It's rumored. I don't think it's a rumor. I think it actually happened. His wife bought him a T-Rex skull for his birthday. That's not a cheap item.
I didn't have it on my bucket list until you mentioned it.
It's something you can do. It's something you do. I can't see. I'm looking at the backgrounds. Eric and I are the only ones that don't have an actual background. I don't have a T-Rex skull. Eric, I noticed you don't have one either. So
no, I don't. Not showing, at least.
That's why Jeff and I had the backgrounds. We don't want people to know.
Yeah,
you don't want anybody to know about the T-Rex skull, right?
Right.
Yeah. Just seemed ostentatious on a podcast. I don't know why.
I thought my Masters flags in the background would be enough, so I could show you the rest of the room with all the other memorabilia, but we won't do that today. So the PGA Tour is still classified as a nonprofit. What do you think about that, Jeff?
Creative accounting is what I think about that. Somebody getting rich somewhere.
I didn't know it was a nonprofit.
You didn't know that, huh?
No.
I believe the NFL is a nonprofit too.
How are either of those nonprofits? I don't understand.
So the PGA Tour is classified as a nonprofit because each of its tournaments is classified as a charity event.
Wow.
How about them apples?
Wow, cool.
Eric, I see your face.
So
you're like, what the hell?
That's creative.
That is creative.
That's so crazy. How does the NFL get away with it?
I don't know. It works like this.
Have you seen the Cleveland Browns play? Each game they play on is a charity event too.
Yeah. So it works like this. Each PGA Tour event is set up as its own charity, the supposed purpose of which is to raise money for things like cancer research, boys and girls clubs, etc. But according to an Outside the Lines piece that they did, the average PGA tournament ends up producing an incredibly paltry amount of charitable donations. So this is an old study, right? This is back in 2011 when they did it. The Outside the Lines analyzed the tour's US-based tournaments that received charitable tax exemptions and found they spent on average, 16% on the actual charity. That figure is far below the minimum 65% that charity watchdog groups say makes for responsible charity.
Sounds about right.
So I wonder if the NFL does it that way with their partner. I think they partner with State Farm, and every extra point and field goal is a donation to a charity. So maybe that's how they get away with it too. Maybe
so
that's the big
crazy.
loophole.
I don't know. We were talking about NFL and actual just the cost of any kind of sports franchise, right? With I believe it was the Dallas Cowboys leading the way at somewhere around $7 billion net worth or something like that.
And the Yankees have to be up there too.
Yeah, and the Patriots, who Robert Kraft bought the Patriots for like just under $300,000, and they're one of like the third or fourth most expensive sports team now at $4.5 billion, something stupid like that. So, but the rest of the money apparently goes towards things like cash prizes, tournament logistics, and marketing. They asked why this is a problem, and they said because of that pesky nonprofit status, which provides the PGA with a series of tax breaks and prevents the tour from having to pay millions of dollars in taxes every year. According to a tax attorney that they spoke to, the PGA avoided paying around $200 million in taxes over the last 10 years.
I believe that. So another part of that racket is cars, right? So when these big tournaments come into town, you know, they are these car dealers, unless it's a sponsor, supply all these cars.
Right.
And they write them off. They write them all off.
Yep.
It's the same thing. And then they turn around and sell them as used vehicles.
Certified. Pre-owned.
Certified pre-owned.
Certified pre-owned, right?
Yeah. Okay. I'm
That's
preheated
crazy.
too. It's like pre-boarded, pre-whatever.
Yeah. I think it's nuts.
So, Jeff, to answer your question about the wealthiest teams, the New York Yankees are right behind the Cowboys. They're second, which I thought it was interesting. So Dallas Cowboys, New York Yankees, and the Knicks are the top three.
The Knicks?
The Knicks, $5 billion is what it says.
The Knicks are worth $5 billion?
Yeah, and then
I would not have picked them.
And then it's soccer teams and soccer teams.
Is that still a sport?
Yes, the most popular sport in the world, actually.
That's what I've been told.
Yeah, no, not the most popular sport in America anyway. So. Football is still king. Football is still a king.
I get tired watching soccer matches. Like, they just exhaust me.
Yeah. So, Eric, talk to us about Swizzy Golf. What's new? What's going on? What's happening? What do you have on the horizon?
We have a lot of really cool partnerships that are on the horizon. Back end stuff that we're working on, but if they come through, there'd be a lot of really exciting stuff for the user experience. I don't want to say any names, but popular brands that you may be using on the course or in kind of in-person lessons would be available and just see all of your information and creating 3D renderings of your swing inside of a lesson for analysis with your coach. So that kind of stuff would be pretty cool. To see that in there.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I mean, the ability to get that online via your phone is awesome. I mean, especially for like us, it's like we have to, if we want to go travel or go get a lesson, you know, we have to go 45 minutes to get a decent lesson. Whereas we could just sign up with the app and do it at home.
Yeah. So the goal is, how do you make that as good as possible?
Right.
You know, it starts, the baseline you could say is just a Zoom call. You could Zoom with a coach or whatever, and they can help you a little bit. We're building on that. Okay, now we're building in these analysis tools. How do you make it this immersive experience where you're getting a 3D view of your swing all from your phone, and a coach analyzing your stats from on course over the last month that they have all at their fingertips? Like, wow, you really can't do anything better than that once you build it all in. So how do we get there? That's
right.
challenge, but you know, you can imagine that kind of thing being just unbelievably cool.
I haven't looked at the app much just because I wasn't here last time when you guys did the episode. Are you able to track your scores and stuff like that on the app as well?
No. That it's you know, that kind of thing might be there in the future. Really, all the focus is on creating the best lesson experience right now.
Cool.
And that tracking stuff, and you know, your on course data, whatever. That's all, some good gravy that we're going to tack on later on. But Right now, we're trying to create the best possible user experience with what we have. You know, it's still not the greatest in the world that we can envision, because it's still early on and building up to it. But,
Sure.
you know, it's how can we take this fundamental piece to connect people together and make it the best experience possible.
For sure.
It's a great time and technology for something like this as well. Camera technology is making huge leaps forward. So cameras and phones, the new Apple camera array is actually really an amazing, and the Samsung one is just as good for some of the features that you're talking about, 3D swing analysis and some of these other things. So
yeah, it's funny because we come across a number of people in the industry over our brief history so far, and some of them have said, yeah, we tried this back in 2008. We had this idea, but technology wasn't there yet, and we couldn't figure out how to make it work. And someone else tried it, you know, a couple of years later, still not there. So we got lucky in a sense that the technology is up to where it could be. And part of what we're building in is forward-looking, where it may not even be possible yet.
Mhm.
But you know, we're still starting to conceive things where, all right, how do we connect with an Apple Watch and maybe a drone for a second camera view or something like that? So yeah, there's great things that are on the horizon that are out of our control, but would make it a lot better.
Okay, so you say that your golf game isn't at a level you'd like to see it at as well, right? So what are you hoping for in your golf game coming up?
I really like to just focus on how many quality shots I hit. I don't like to look at my score, and I don't really like to look at raw stats too much. It'll probably help. I'm probably stupid for that. But after I play, I just go back through my round and say, all right, I hit that 9-iron well. I hit that drive well. A 3-putt, but I made a nice putt, and it was a tough 3-putt. So I'm trying to pick out shots that I actually hit well, because that's, for me, that's what keeps me playing. I want to hit really quality shots.
Yeah, for sure.
You
That's
know,
good
I don't know how-
attitude to
Wants
have.
to hit really quality shots too, right?
So I don't know how you guys kind of qualify your game. I know some of my friends just go by score, and they want to score as best as possible. I just want to hit really good shots.
That's the same way. That's been my sole focus for like the last 2 years, or I guess since I started playing again, is just hitting good shots and just striking the ball well. And if anything that happens after that, I'm happy with. If I was hitting the ball decent that day, I don't really care about what I shot.
yeah, I don't think I mind scoring high if I feel like, if I walk off the course and I go, I don't really feel like I played that badly today. Oh, but God, I had 53 on the front. That's not me. I can deal with that actually better than I can deal with a 49 that I felt like I fought everything all the way around. I'd
Mhm.
rather have the 53 with some, feel good about a 53. So, that's.
Well, yeah, Eric, I don't know if you're like the rest of us, but we play golf together a lot, and we'll jump out of the car, put our shoes on, strap the bag to the push carts, and walk up to the first tee and go, okay, now I expect to drive it, perfectly down the middle and set myself up and do great. And it never works that way.
Right. I'm a little bit different. I like to, I'll usually get there maybe an hour and 15 minutes early. And if nothing else, just be outside and hitting some putts and, enjoy it. Cause I'd rather just be outside anyway.
Sure.
If I have some time and I dedicated some time to playing golf, even if I'm not going to be practicing, quote unquote, I'm just going to be outside enjoying myself on the golf course.
Yeah. And I think that's one thing that we're missing a lot, is getting there. We like to play golf early, and to the point where when we get there, there's no one in the pro shop. There's no one there. So we can't even go to the range to hit balls. And that's something that I like a lot, is being able to have at least 20, 30 minutes just to loosen my body up and hit some golf balls. Because when we played Moose Landing, Dad, we got some range practice in beforehand, and I had a great front nine.
Definitely played better there. Two of us don't have any excuse, because two of us have nets and stuff set up in our garage where we could get out, in the garage and hit in the morning before we go to the course. And I've done that a few times. I just don't like the feedback as much. The garage for me is more of a, hey, I just want to work on something. You don't get the same feedback hitting off a mat that you get off the grass, in my opinion. So
it's hard for me because, again, the net's just there so I can work on my ball striking, because it was horrible for a while and it's a lot better now. But I don't know, like I could swing my driver in my garage, but it's not going to do me any good if I don't know where it's going. It's going to look like it went straight into the net. So it'll help me get loose, but will have no idea what I'm doing that day.
Yeah, I want to know which direction I'm going too.
For sure.
If I'm 40 yards left, I'm aiming right on the course. So
right.
I'm trying to get an idea. Am I going left or right today?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Maybe if I would do that, then I would see that I needed to hit my coach up on Swizzy Golf app real quick and
there
say,
you
what
go.
the
Yeah,
hell
there
is,
you
what the hell is
15
going
minutes well
on?
spent before the round. 15
Yeah.
minutes well spent.
well, they're going to tell you, Jeff, that hitch at the top and then that chicken wing thing.
Yeah. Gee, that's new.
Yeah. Well, it is a great app. Jeff signed up for it. Aaron's checked it out. I'm going to sign up for it. I'm going to take a lesson. I want to see how it goes so I can provide you feedback. I still got to reach out to KB and get him involved and see if he wants something he wants to do as well. Aaron, I think he'd be pretty cool at this. He's a young hip kid that likes technology. So,
That's the boomerest thing you've ever said right there.
I know. Well, I'm an old fart.
We're boomer. Well, I think I'm the only boomer here, but anyway, yeah, Eric, I got to tell you, I'm pretty excited. I want to keep an eye on the app. I hope, I'm glad that you were able to join us tonight, and hopefully we keep in touch and we can have you on every now and again. But I want to see where the app goes, and I really think you're at a great spot, and so hopefully that works out for you.
I think it's the perfect time. Technology is right where you need it to be to get things going, and then it's not going to go anywhere but up. So the best thing that can happen is you just continue to improve upon it.
Mm-hmm. So what you're saying is, if it doesn't work out, it's all our fault.
No, it's all uphill.
Right. But if the company doesn't work out, it's all on us.
That's funny.
No pressure.
Yeah, none at all, right?
Yeah.
So last time during our interview, I think I cut you off a little short. You had some questions you wanted to ask. Do you remember what those questions were at all?
One was your guys, because you had asked me my dream foursome. I thought, what came to my mind, who do you guys want to have on here? How big do you guys think you can get on this podcast? Who do you think you can have on?
I feel like if we could have any PGA player or anyone that is currently playing on tour, that would be I don't even care who it is. If they play on tour, that would be awesome to have. Just to ask them some questions and to get that, insight into that whole aspect.
I would. So this is my take on it. We talk a lot about the LPGA. We've touched on that subject a ton. I would say the same thing as you, Aaron, but I'd put an L in front of that PGA.
Sure.
I would like to have one of the ladies come on.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because I think I'd like to see both, but I think they can offer some unique insight.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, something that I thought was beyond cool that you'd never see at a men's tournament was during the round, Nelly Corda walked up to a fan, signed her glove, took her glove off, and gave it to the fan.
Yeah.
I mean, the ladies are definitely more accessible, and they always have been. And it's one of those things I think they have to do in order to keep people coming back and doing that stuff. Or not that they have to do it. They thought they had to do. The same way with, wear shorter skirts and more revealing clothing. That's all bullshit, right? Because if you go watch an event, just go live. Don't watch it on TV. Find an event, go to it, and watch them hit balls live. It's outstanding. It really is amazing. So
yeah,
they're very good ball strikers.
Yeah, for me, I'd love to have any of the legends on. Jack, Tiger, just somebody with that kind of status. Gary Player. I would love to talk to these guys about how the game has evolved under their watch and what it was like to what it is now, and what they think should happen to the game. Because I know they all have opinions.
I think it'd be cool to be able to get that perspective too, especially someone who is around older. How much different are the courses themselves, because there's some old school videos you can go watch, like Shell's Wonderful World of Golf when they were doing that, where Jack has a good one where he plays Pebble Beach, and he's talking about it. He's like, you can see in the footage, like there's flowers growing in the fairway. Like it's cut a little bit longer. So the conditions aren't as immaculate as they are now. And I want to know what, how different is it?
Yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah.
It's a good point.
Can we get there, Eric? Was the other part of your question? If we work hard, eat our Wheaties, I'm hoping we get there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're exploring, experimenting, trying to find our footing really, and trying to figure out which direction we're going to go and where we're going to land. Having more people on like yourself that have knowledge of the game and have something to offer, which is a really big deal, and partnering with you even, to help spread the word about what you're doing, so that we can help golf continue to grow is a big deal for us. So we want to see the game grow. We want it to be as diverse as possible, and we want everybody to enjoy what we enjoy, so.
Yeah.
Well said.
Cool. Hey, thanks for joining us, Eric. We'll have you on again for sure. We're definitely going to stay in touch. I know Jeff's going to get a lesson.
Jeff needs one.
I will probably get one as well in the
Same.
next probably 4 to 5 days. And then we'll reach out to you with our experiences on that. And hopefully we get you back on. We can talk about it. So
yeah,
that'd be awesome. I appreciate you guys having me on again. It's really enjoyable to talk to you guys. And now I'm interested to kind of follow along with the rest of your guys' stuff, go back and listen to the other podcasts that I've been on twice. So it's great stuff.
So the early stuff is very interesting.
Okay.
We didn't know what we were doing.
And start there.
Yeah, we didn't know what we were doing. No, it was very interesting, right?
Yeah, it's different.
So the podcast started because Aaron said, "Hey, let's do a podcast one day." I said, "Okay," and we got 2 mics that plugged into a computer. We didn't know what we were doing, so we didn't even know what we were going to talk about. So we've got all these little crazy 15-minute episodes of just random shit. So
yes, we do.
It's interesting. So, and then we brought Jeff on. So kind of round us out.
Could have been a strategic mishap. We don't know yet.
So, but it's good. We enjoy it. We enjoy what we're doing. We're not going to stop, and we're going to get a website built up there to host all our own stuff, and get your Swizzy link out there for you. So we're looking forward to it.
Yeah. And you guys, anyone listening to this or watching us, hello, you can find that right down in the description of the podcast and in the video. So it'll go right to that site for you.
All right, everybody. Well, if you got nothing else, I appreciate everybody coming on tonight. I really enjoyed it again. And thanks for all our listeners and soon to be watchers, right?
Right.
Reach out to us at ampedgolf@gmail.com. Let us know what you think and give us ideas. Or if you want to be a guest on the show, you can reach out and we can talk about it. So,
oh yeah.
Thanks for joining us, everybody. We appreciate you.
Bye.